Hello everyone, Hawky here, back with another sort of Convallaria video. So let's talk about our free-to-play meta plan for Q4 2025. There's a lot of discussion, a lot of controversy about it, but we should still keep talking about it. So what we're looking at currently is Camelot has officially been confirmed as next unit on the 24th of October. Yserinde has been leaked and data mined previously that she is coming after Camelot. This is hasn't been officially confirmed, but essentially it is 95% certain. What we're having an issue with is what's coming up afterwards. So there's the time skip SOC 2.0 version with SP Maitha, SP Nangle, and SP Fakel there. Our collab, we're still pending what it actually is, and there's also Parzival just somewhere in between all of this. So the order of this is still subject to change. Parzival could be up ahead. SP Maitha, SP Nangle could switch places with the collab. So all of this is still going to come within this period, but there's going to be a mix. We don't know the exact order, and that's the main issue, right? And then we'll jump into Lucamar and the Eliminar arc sometime next year, early next year. I'm expecting Lucamar on the 30th of January, because that is our 1.5 anniversary. So that sort of fits there. But yeah, we're in for some tough decisions, right? So the main choices I see is there's going to be a crossroads between picking Camelot, SP Maitha, or the collab. If you do have more pools, you can definitely choose more, or choose more options with their individual teams, and then afterwards we have Lucamar coming in on the element route. And also for events, what we're going to look at next is the world boss. So world boss, and then there's going to be the hard mode Fool's Journey. There's going to be another Tower Versity, but this Tower Versity is probably going to come with the element, so that's even further away. So let's have a look at this. So I've been talking about Camelot a lot, and yeah, Camelot is the traditional DPS. Strong physical AoE, nice turn 1 burst, quite tanky as well. He has the Union aura, which benefits all the Union units, as well as some of the past Union units as well, looking at Unidia. But for traditional DPS, there's a lot of them. A lot of us have invested in traditional DPS. SP Samantha was definitely a big pull for a lot of us. SP Nana still does very strong DPS. We still have our old school DPS like SP Rawia, Tristan. They're still relevant in a way. Tristan more for the damage. Estra still strong single target DPS. AoEs. We still have Nidia, Luvata, Marcel, and then we have Convallaria and Luffy. Piercing damage, DOT. All of this is still relevant, and Camelot, in essence, is a slight upgrade, or sometimes a side grade, but it's more of a slight upgrade towards our traditional DPS. And I guess the main issue is how much value will that bring to your account? Are you going to run a full Union team? Because for his aura, or he could slot into any team, but he's going to replace one of your existing DPS. And is that a good call? That's something you have to decide for yourself, right? We did see Camelot struggle in the Fool's Journey, but that was him solo. If with buffs with his team, still can hit the harder level enemies, but Fool's Journey is more of a teasing stage where you play with dodge, piercing, DOT, so there's something there. Power Versity, Camelot was used. It was quite strong there, but the actual technical cheese strat had Parzival replace Camelot. So Parzival is a bit like a side grade, bit more niche, but it still does quite a lot of damage as well. And then we also have Yserinde coming up. So Yserinde, very strong piercing damage, but she's more of a utility unit. He is a more technical unit, lane traps. There's various mechanics with her, team-wide damage reduction, lifesteal. and she was one of the important factors in getting a high rank in World Boss. So for World Boss, there was some rewards like Trinket, Refinement Box, Gold, Engravings. These titles were permanent for the World Boss, but there's not really that much important rewards. Like ranking in the World Boss is a bit like flexing, right? Flexing in Towerversity, right? And getting the luck sites, pulls, and other rewards from the World Boss, you just have to participate. You just hit the boss a few times and you let the rest of the world, the whales, carry you. Like, unless you're hitting for the rankings, I don't think you really should be investing in units for the world boss. Like, Yserinde definitely played a big role, and so did SP Maitha for the world boss. That was in CN. It could potentially change for global, but the type of maps is pretty much the same. It's basically you need wide coverage, big AoE, and hit plenty of mobs around the map. And Yserinde, with laying her traps around, she can do that. SP Maitha, with her synergy with the rally command, rally response, with all these units down here, can definitely do that as well. So let's talk more about SP Maitha. The SP Maitha team is kind of like a free-to-play team as well, because with SP Maitha, she can do the rally response for all the sort of Convallaria units. So even like OG Fakel, OG Rawia can technically benefit from that. We also have our older units, Beryl, Nono Wheel, Momo, OG Maitha, Inanna. They're very strong as well. And then you also have the newer units with SP Nungle, SP Fakel. But usually, what happens with this SOT team is basically just SP Maitha. Sometimes they bring SP Nungle. They definitely bring OG Nana for the act again. And then they bring SP Nana. And then that's pretty much a full team. And then they throw in like a DPS like Camelot, SP Samantha, that sort of thing. It's not really like using everyone in this whole team, but it's an option. You could give all your older units some relevancy, but is it really that good? The SP Maitha is mainly the piercing damage, and piercing damage, it's basically relevant throughout all the modes. There's not really any ups or downs to piercing damage, and it's hard to increase the piercing damage further. But you do combo with all these units, so it's quite fun and interesting to play with as well. And I guess the other thing with SP Maitha is, if you pull her, you don't have to pull SP Nungle, SP Fakel. I mean, SP Nungle is definitely still a solid unit in her own right as well, and definitely strong in the SP Maitha team. But most people just go with OG Nana and SP Nana for the team to just make SP Maitha act again and attack again. And now the third big option is the collab. Like, we don't know how good the collab's going to be. We know it's going to be released in both CN and global, like worldwide. So the collab units should be as good as the element units, right? Because they need to entice CN players to pull. But that is still a theory, right? That could be still subject to change. Like, how good was Marcel when she came out? She was solid. She was like a Luvata side grade, but she wasn't really that amazing, right? So going for the collab is still a bit of a gamble. And I guess there is also that firmware aspect. You know, the collab units, if you don't get them during this event, then you won't get them forever, right? And the collab units should be cheaper. Like with the Marcel and Farland banner, they're only at 100 pulls for hard pity. It was like 95 on the first pull. It was 95 essentially because you had the first 10 pull discounted. So getting these wasn't too expensive for the previous collab, and I'm expecting something similar for our upcoming collab as well. I guess the other thing about the collab is we don't know what sort of synergies there will be either. So how do they fit in our existing teams? Would having like SP Nana still buff them? And does her attack again make them stronger? Or like, your other units, who do they replace, right? So looking back at the events, so SP Maitha Yserinde, if you want to rank up for World Boss, Fool's Journey, like, you kind of just cheese the stage. You could cheese the stage with, like, you know, DOT units. So we're looking at, like, Convallaria and Luffy, SP Rawia for her, like, dodges, Tristan for her 2-turn invincible, and then you just slowly grind the enemy down. It's not really a stage where you can really high DPS and face tank the enemy, because your units just take way too much damage. And you can also cheese the Fool's Journey stages with Camelot. Like, he does have the knockback in his basic attack, and he has the multiple act again, so a bunch of knockback from him. SP Rawia, 2 knockbacks a turn. Tristan, pick a knockback and then go Berserk Fury, reset and knockback. That's only for a burst, so but it's still options. So I just feel like with every of these modes, they're trying to cater to different teams. Like, you got the piercing team here. I mean, you still kind of have the piercing team here, but this is more the cheese units. Like, I suppose you can even use the old Luxite gang and like the epics of like dodge and stuff to cheese Fool's Journey. And then the Towerversity is where you can hit hard and smash things down. There's still a level of technical different strategies and cheesing methods there, but they all require different sort of teams for each of these modes. That's why it makes the decision quite hard, because all these units are useful in their own way. And to me, Camelot is the first one out, because if you already have a traditional DPS, a strong DPS, then Camelot does replace them, but he doesn't really bring too much to the table. SP Maitha, on the other hand, she has her synergy team with her rally response. She's strong piercing unit by herself, so like direct piercing units, you pretty much only have Cavalro, but like Dot is pretty much piercing, so SP Maitha is like sort of competing with these units, which some of you have, some of you might not. And the other piercing Dot unit is pretty much Yserinde. And we've seen what's coming up with the rebates for the Camelot banner. You get 10 pulls regardless of whether you pull for him or not, and you get some shards back. Shards, I think, is less of a free-to-play thing, more of a WoW thing, so not much to really commit there. SP Maitha's banner refund is pretty good, right? Because when you spend pulls, you're going to get pulls back. You know, 20 pulls and you get like 2 pulls back. That's pretty decent value, so pulling on SP Maitha, getting some pulls back, and we don't know how Collab will be. Collab, I feel like it is the big gamble, right? But it is the FOMO, and I feel like they'll hype up Collab to make the units good and at least semi-relevant. There's probably going to be like special cosmetics, special frames or something for the collab, so they're a nice investment, but it's not really going to help you much for the pulls. I guess it just really depends on our schedule. I'll say first, skip Camelot. Skip Yserinde. Yserinde is still I feel like she's more useful ranking. Like the piercing damage ranking. And then you see what's next. If Collab is next, then see how strong Collab is. Or if SP Maitha is after Yserinde, then you could consider pulling on SP Maitha, put a few pulls in, see how you go, and then save the rest up for Collab. I think that is the best option there. Like, these units are still good, but because of the way the schedule is at the moment, we're just in for a tough time, and you can only have so much pulls as a free-to-play. But Camelot, if you do want to pull him, then go for it. But he's pretty much like any of your traditional DPS. You don't really need him if you already have someone decent already. Anyway, I'll leave it at that. Just a lot of things to consider for, and hopefully we'll get more news about the collab, what's coming next. I think there's a patch coming up, so we might get more news then. Anyway, I'll leave it at that. I'll let you guys know if anything changes, but yeah, that's just my thoughts on what's coming up. Thank you everyone so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.